So my name is Phoebe Hagan and I'm with my coach Rob, and we are going to be talking about peak week training today, and we're also going to be going through a leg session, my last leg session for my competition, which is in 6 days. Rob's going to pretty much be explaining to you guys what goes on through peak week, because a lot of people think that peak week changes a lot of the time. It doesn't actually change that much. So if Rob wants to explain a little bit more.
Yeah, so now we've been reassessing Phoebe's physique for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks and manipulating things every day. And when I say manipulating things, we only change things ever so slightly. So we might add in 10, 15 grams of carbs, we might add in 5 minutes cardio, 10 minutes cardio extra. So heading into peak week, I know that Phoebe is pretty much ready for her show. If her show was in 2 days' time, I'd be very confident that she would do extremely well. So this week, all we're trying to do now is just lower the cardio that she's on to make sure there's any water in her legs will be expelled and she hasn't got holding any water in her legs, and gradually increase those carbs to fill out her physique. We're not manipulating any kind of sodium, we're not manipulating any kind of potassium, we're not trying to be doctors. All we're trying to do is really reduce the water that she holds through cardio, which is called edema, which is water retention within the legs. So that is the best way to do that, is just pull off cardio a little bit. And then we're just going to gradually increase her carb and try and fill out her physique. And we're going to reassess that every single day. So every single day Phoebe will send me pictures and she'll send me videos just to make sure we're absolutely on point when show day comes.
So training doesn't really change a lot, does it? No. We're not trying to get PBs. I mean, strength should stay as much as possible, shouldn't it?
Yeah, so all we're trying to do with this week now with training is, we're just trying to, it's almost just ticking boxes.
Yeah.
You know, because at this stage you're pretty much ready. The thing we have to be careful with in this week is that we don't overexert yourself, because your joints and your tendons and your ligaments will be really weak.
Okay, cool.
Because they'll be very dry because you're really lean, so they don't have any fat around them as a cushion. So in this week we're just trying to sort of tick boxes, go through the motions almost, because as I said, you're ready. So what you're not trying to do is trying to hit PBs.
Yeah. What a lot of people think is when peak week comes around, you've got to change training dramatically and do loads of reps and do loads of light weights, which isn't the case. Like we just said earlier, you've got to keep your strength up as much as possible, but not having going crazy and having PBs each session, if that makes sense.
What you'll hear a lot about in peak week is depletion workouts.
Yeah.
And what the theory behind that is muscles hold glycogen, which is your carbohydrate store, and you want to deplete that as much as possible and then fill it up with superficial amounts of carbs. And what that means is, in essence, you go very, very low carb, if not no carb, for 3 or 4 days, and then you'll go very, very high carb for the last couple of days to superficial fill those glycogen stores. What we try and do over the week is we try and push them glycogen stores up very, very slightly each day. So we never go zero carb, we never go depletion workout where you're doing hundreds and hundreds of reps. We keep training exactly the same, because as I said previously, you should be pretty much ready at 1 week out. So don't change things if you're ready, keep everything the same. All you're trying to do is just tick boxes almost and say, right, yeah, another push session done, another pull session done. The reason we don't train legs in that final week up to the show is because, as we all know, when you're training, sometimes you can have DOMs, and when you have DOMs, it's going to make you hold water, because DOMs will be a stress sort of symbol from the body. So what you're trying to do in that last week is take away the leg training, let your legs rest, and what you'll do with that is you'll find that your legs will bring more and more detail out because you're letting them rest and recover. So therefore on show day your legs should be really nice and crisp.
So we've spoken about food, as in we're slowly adding in carbs. This morning I did feel a little bit flat and a bit not great, but that is because my body hasn't had the amount of carbs that we're going to now push in.
One more thing to add there is, when you are doing your carb load, use the carb sources that you've used throughout your prep.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the time people will prep on things like potato and rice and oats, and then all of a sudden they'll chuck in things like rice cakes, which they haven't had throughout their whole prep. And the reason you stick with the carbs that you've used during prep is because you know that your body responds well to those carbs. or it should respond well to those carbs. If all of a sudden you start changing the sources of food that you're having, you're unsure really of how your body will respond. So you're almost playing a guessing game in that last week, which you don't want to do. So when you do start adding carbs, just adding more carbs of what you have been having. Don't change the source of those carbs, keep it the same.
That's a good point, to be fair, because I've seen that a lot on Instagram, saying like a lot of people will carb up on random foods or have cheat meals in the last week, and it kind of ruins it all. So this time we're literally just going to keep it simple, keep the carbs in that I've been having throughout this entire prep, and keep pushing really.
Just 8 reps to start. Do 2 reps, 3 reps, 11, 12, you're almost there. 11, 12, 11, one more please, one more. Good, yeah, drop. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, okay, time, let's get it, come on. Last 6, let's get it. 1, go. 2, strong. You got it, champ. Come on. 3, let's go. 4, come on, champ. 5, 6. Let's go. 5, one more. Slow and then drive. Good. Yeah, strong. Two more. Good, one more. Squeeze it and control it. Good girl, strong. Four, good girl, strong. Come on. 5, good girl. 6, 7, 8, almost there. 6, good girl. Let's control, come on. 7, 1, 2, 1. Yeah. 10 seconds, please. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Engage your hamstrings before you move it. Just tense them up and then we go. 1, good work. Keep it down. 1, 2, good work. Strong. You got it. Come on, you got it. Good, come through it over, let's go. Good. One more, please, one more, let's go. Up. Good, yeah, go on. So you're right through the ball. Just get a little right through the ball. Let's go. Squeeze that ball. 1, 2, 3. Come on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good go. Check. Oh, that's a good speed. We got it. We got it. 10 reps. 10 reps. Let's go. 1, go. 2, go. 3, come on. 4, don't stop, don't stop. 5, don't stop, don't stop. Let's go, let's go. 6, come on. 7, good. 8, good. 9, one more, let's go. Drive through the feet. Just through the feet. Once you're hit through the feet. 1, 2, 3, all collisions. 4, go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, stop on feet. 10, 2, 3, good. 4, come on, you're almost there, Jack. 5, 6, come on, let's go. 7, 8, 7, good. 8, 9, 10, bang. 9, one more. 10, go.
Oh my God.
Flex the wrist. Pull the hand to the right. Pull the hand face up.